welcome to a special episode of the Insert Name Here show.
Yes.
A very special episode. It's the Ken and Terrence show, this one.
Absolutely.
You know, Supanova's come and gone,
Yep.
and I thought, what better time than to revisit how we actually first met.
It's like our secret origins, right?
It is
secret
our secret origins.
So
This
cool.
is our episode 0, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like I said, Supanova's just come and gone, and Supanova is a very special convention for us.
Absolutely.
Not because we get good art and we, get to do our thing, but 2 years ago, that was where you and I first met.
Yeah. Wow. It's been a couple of years already.
Do you remember that? Do you remember when we first met?
I do. I have a clear recollection of it.
Do you?
This is going to
I
be
didn't
really... This is a fun episode, I think, because we haven't really spoke about this too much.
No, we haven't.
So, do you want to start or do you want me to start?
No, well, here's the thing. Like, I've been going to conventions like Supanova, Armageddon,
Yep.
Since maybe 2008, 2009.
Mhm.
How about you? How long have you been going to these things for?
My first one was, well, I've been to a couple of Armageddons here and there, but I never really stuck around for too long. I used to go in there, walk around the floors for a total of about an hour to an hour and a half for the whole day. Then I'll be like, I'm out. Because
You missed out on all the fun then.
Yeah, well, I had no idea that you can actually get comic art, right? I didn't know about it until it was Supanova 2012 that got me.
Okay.
So... That was my year when I started.
What do you remember of the convention? Because why don't you tell us what you remember of the convention?
Okay, so Supanova 2012 for me, walked in there. Well, I didn't go there early as well. I don't line up like we do now.
Do you remember what time you got there to your convention?
Probably something like 11 o'clock. Something like that, 11 o'clock-ish, 10, 11.
All the action's already happened.
I know. So I walked in there. I distinctly remember I lined up for Bendis for signatures. I lined up for Pacheco signatures, and Billy Tan as well signatures. And you know what? This is funny, but I actually remembered you in the line. I don't know if you did, because I remember I was standing in the line, right? And we're all lined. I was like first or second by that time frame when Bendis was coming out. You probably would have been there way earlier, obviously. And I remember I was waiting there, and I distinctly remember you carrying out your little folder that you always carry.
That's very generous of you, because it's almost as big as me, that folder.
Yeah, so I remember I was waiting in line, and you walked straight over, and I was thinking to myself, who is this punk jumping lines here? Who is this guy? What the hell's going on here? But then, luckily, you had some etiquette that you were just looking at to what they were also doing and stuff. So I remember that, because I remember you walked over to Pacheco's line to take a look at what he was sketching. It must have been, I'm going on a wild guess that it was something that he was sketching. So that was my first recollection of you specifically. Secondly, after having a full days of walking around, it just got to in the late afternoon, and I was thinking, you know what, it's probably time for me to jet off soon. But I'll take a look at what these guys are doing, these comic artists and stuff are doing. They're probably still signing, and that's when I saw Billy Tan sketching, and I was like, oh wow, he's actually drawing. So I'll check this out, and I'll take a look at this. And after he sketched, after a good 15 minutes, that's when I realized, oh my god, he was actually sketching for people.
He was working,
and I was like, my god, you can actually buy and collect comic art. So I put in my, my request for a Logan. I'll post it up there, but I put in my request for a Logan headshot, I guess, which did a bit more of a bust, and after that I received it up, which I was like in shock, but I was amazed as well. That's when you came over and you were like, oh, what did you get? And I was like, oh, I got this, and you were like, whoa, that's cool. That's when we started initially talking, right?
That was the
that was the moment.
Yeah. Well, my memories
and the rest
of
is history, I guess.
my memories of Supanova 2012 were, I mean, by that time, I wouldn't say I was a seasoned veteran by any means, but I know that if you want to get the most out of it, well, maybe not to say if you want to get the most out of it, but if you want to meet the artists, if you want to get something personal from them, you got to get there early.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I was there from at least half an hour before the doors opened.
Yep. Which is what we do now.
Which is what we do now.
We plan in advance. Who are we going to see? What are we going to get?
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Right.
But I was there about half an hour before the actual show opened.
Yeah.
And even then, for some people, half an hour is still kind of late. But regardless, I get there half an hour because I wasn't really desperate to get anything from any of the guests that were there. At that convention, I did line up and I arranged something for with Carlos Pacheco and also Billy Tan.
So missed out on Pacheco. Damn.
But I did line something up with them, and I didn't notice you until the end of day one because at that time I spend most of my time around the artists anyway. And normally when someone gets something, I'm always a bit, what's the word, I guess, a bit of a snoop. I want to know what it is that you got.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I want to see what it is. And I mean, I see this guy who, you don't really look like a comic book nerd. You know, you're pretty big up top and not around the middle, which is unlike most people.
No, I just hide it really well with my clothes, that's all.
I mean, we always joke about how much of a hipster you are.
Hey,
I won't say you were too much of a hipster, but you had your crumpler bag, your messenger bag. Yep. You had jeans which were like 2 sizes too small for you even then. and you had this Wolverine from Billy Tan, which was just pretty cool.
Yes.
And I think on that day we didn't really say too much. We were like, oh, that's cool. Didn't. But I remember that either the next day or later that day, I showed you that I was getting my jam piece done.
Yes, you did. You showed me your jam piece, and I was like in shock.
First of all, it blew your mind that number one, you can meet artists and say hello and get them to sign something.
Yep.
And then to find out that they can draw for you, albeit at a fee, and then to find out that you can get multiple artists to draw
in one sort of collected different sort of. Piece of art.
So I guess that was where it all began. Supanova 2012.
Supanova 2012, absolutely. But and look, ever since then, I've been learning from you. Pretty much, you've been Ken has been my mentor ever since.
I guess I'm responsible for creating this whatever it is you've become. But the thing with Supanova is that after the event, I think. We said bye. We didn't really know each other.
No.
We were still. No. I think there's a nice amount of etiquette, and the people who go to these conventions are usually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Rod, Alex, and so on. I met them just because we go to these conventions so often, and I see them like every 6 months.
Yep.
The next convention was where it all
happened.
That's when it
really
all happened, wasn't it?
That's when the magic happened, isn't it? Really? Come on, don't be like that.
Well, that was more New York, I think, wasn't it?
Oh, that's true.
But anyway, it was Oz Comic Con 2012.
Yep.
That was when you figured out if you want to get something,
you gotta go there early. Yes. That's what I figured out.
I still beat you at the line. I was still like two people in front of you.
I was still amateur. I had no idea.
You did pretty well.
When should you line up and this and that and. Oz Comic Con was when we sort of stuck in line and we were there all day.
And
right? From the opening doors all the way till when it finished, we was practically there all freaking day.
And I think it just so happened because it was you, me, and I guess Pia as well. Our good buddy Pia.
We met her there.
We were in line for at least 4 or 5 hours, and in that time, either you get along really well, or you really
don't and just sort of look away, right? And
thankfully, it worked out pretty well.
It worked out well.
A good convention.
Yeah, it was a good convention. And I remembered you from Supanova in Oz Comic Con. And I was like, hey, I remember
that's
you.
Right,
you showed me blah, blah, blah. And that's when we started talking and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you did the right thing of saying hello and passing time. And it was good because even though the usual guys were still there, that was the year that Stan Lee came down.
Yes,
it was a madhouse, wasn't it?
It was crazy.
We're at the exhibition center.
The line went all the way around or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nuts.
So I guess it really was. It worked out quite well after all of that. And ever since, I mean, what's happened since then?
It's at least a month before the con started. Ken and I would be in talks like, oh, which artist are you going to get? Who should we aim for? What characters are you going to get?
What time do you reckon we should get there, you know?
And it was just constantly jumping back and forwards and talking until that particular morning we're like, all right, I'll pick you up in the morning, blah, blah, blah. We'll get there, we're like so excited in the morning. It's crazy.
I'm sure if we went back to our Facebook chats and all, we were going to figure out like, oh, how's your week been going? And weird stuff like that. We were like testing the water still. You're like, like, can I talk to this guy like a friend, or is
it's like it's almost like online dating, man.
Yeah, that's it's like, well, am I going too far? It's like,
gotta be careful with what you say, right?
I know you're like checking your phone, like, oh man, I hope this is him replying to my message, you know.
Yeah, the good old days when we started talking about comic art, and I used to get, and I gotta honestly say, I used to really look forward to like chatting to you online, going, oh, we're gonna start talking about comic art and blah blah blah, all that sort of stuff. Well, and to go through characters and artists, and your collection is still surprised. We'll have to do an episode about your collection.
But our collections. I mean, I think we've both since we've had pretty good runs so far. Yeah. But so there it is. I mean,
that's our secret origins.
All from these silly little conventions,
And now we've got a show, a vodcast show about geek culture, news, and lifestyle.
And we're now media, so
yeah. Surprisingly, we got media guests, right?
We made it.
Media guests? No, media passes. That's what we got. Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
Who would have thought? So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode. When you're at the conventions, say hello to us. Say hello to the guy next to you.
Make friends. I mean, most of my closest friends now are the guys that I met through conventions. And
same.
From an outside point of view, someone who doesn't really follow conventions or didn't really attend to them, I was a bit reserved in regards to meeting people, but you come to know that a lot of these guys that go there to collect comic cards and stuff, they're just regular normal guys. They're not your typical nerds that have social issues.
You can normally tell as well because
you can.
Although I had the big bag and everything, I don't think I wore all black and had was completely out of shape and
had the t-shirt tucked into your jeans.
Yeah, so and you certainly weren't. I mean, I would joke about you being a hipster, but you were just a normal guy. As most people are, but there are those people there who are a bit more maybe fanatical about it.
Stereotypical nerd,
and that's fine. I mean, we'll still say hello, and by all means, do say hello to us as well.
Please do.
But I think what we're trying to say is that it just the friendships that you can make. I mean, we went to New York together. We shared a bed together. I don't know if we can say that.
Gonna be trouble with that one there. Quite.
But anyway, so it's been really great, and I really do look forward to more conventions, more overseas conventions.
Absolutely.
And,
next year, let's do one.
That's right. The Insert Name Here show. We want to take this worldwide and
that'll be really cool.
More shenanigans like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show and say hello to us at the next convention.
Make sure you do.
Who knows? Maybe you can be part of the or maybe you guys can make your own video show. It's not going to be as good as ours, right?
That would be good. All right, thanks guys, and we'll catch you next episode.